All right, guys, welcome to another podcast. So, in today's podcast, I have a very interesting guest. We met, I think it was like 2 months ago. We met through like inner circle program. He was in the mentorship program, and I saw a few of his videos. And the interesting thing about him is I found that his content was like it was like a lot of times in like the men's like fashion lifestyle, like kind of like it's a little bit like very generic, but I found that he always has like these little like tips. Like even the one that today, your video today, he made a video today, by the way. The one where the rolling the sleeves. I literally did that before our podcast, dude.
Hey, I love to
It's
see that.
crazy. So yeah, his name's Harshil Patel. He has a YouTube channel. He's a student. He's studying political science. I don't want to, I don't want to keep going, but I'll let you introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, thank you, man. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I
Yeah,
know,
thanks
like
for
you said,
coming.
we met about 2 months ago. This was something that we were trying to do, but I call like you said, I'm a college student, so I'm 20 years old actually. I'm in my third year of college here in the United States of America. I'm from Massachusetts, Boston, if anyone
America.
knows. America. Um, so studying political science.
Hmm.
Main reason for that is I want to be a lawyer. So I thought I used to actually be a psychology major. So you might have noticed like I love mindset, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to do psychology. But then wanting to be an attorney, I was like, I need to do more reading and writing because that's what's going to help me a lot more. Because I can always read books on the side, which I do about psychology. So then I switched over to poli sci mainly because of that, and that's what I'm studying right now. I absolutely love it. It's a fun major for sure. A lot of interesting things going on, the world here. So that's always fun. And then besides that, I started this YouTube channel over the summer, and it's just trying to do new things, just keep learning, keep growing, and just to see where life takes you.
That's crazy, man. It's you're 20. You're young and you're still young, man. You got like you got the world ahead of you. I mean, we're all young here, but like you got the world ahead of you, man. Like it's crazy that wait, and you started a YouTube channel in the summer, right? So
Yep.
it's interesting that you mentioned that you got into like more political science, trying to be a lawyer. What motivated you to get into political science or and kind of leave that psychology field?
Yeah. So coming in, like I said, I love psychology. I actually
Hmm.
took, I don't know if you have this in Canada, but we have this thing called advanced placement. So I
Okay.
took AP psychology in high school, and I loved it. It's supposed to be like a college level course.
Hmm.
But that was my first introduction to psychology, like in a classroom itself. Like I always liked self improvement, so that's why I was like, this is perfect. So then when I took the class, I was like, oh wow, this is something I can actually see myself doing in college. Such and I did love it. I love psychology, but then eventually after 1 year, I was like, yeah, this is like awesome, but like it's not as exciting as I originally thought. It could have been the professors. I'm not sure because I know my high school teacher, she made it so fun. Like I wanted to like go to class every single day just to go to her class. With college, like I had those professors, but it just wasn't the same. So I was like, maybe it's not the right major for me. So then, and then again, it was the value opportunity cost for me was, I think it just wasn't worth it. Like I said before, like I wanted to focus a lot on reading and writing. And as a psych major, yes, you have to read a lot, but it's not too focused on writing. So I was like, all right, let's try something new. So then I tried poli sci, and I've always taken poli sci as well. I took it in high school. I took some classes in college as well, even though that it wasn't my major. So I enjoyed it. So then when I actually started switching over, I was like, wow, like this is awesome. All the theories, learning about that. And then the main reason I actually switched over, this was like the turning point, was I spent a semester abroad in Washington, D.C. And after that, I came back. I was like, oh, this is it. Like I'm doing poli sci. Like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I think that experience was the main thing that led me to actually switch over. Was that DC experience? Just being in DC, and like that's heart of politics, and
Hmm.
learning about it there just gave me a whole new perspective.
Yeah, no, it's crazy that you mentioned that because even like as you kind of go through your I guess through your life, you kind of try to figure out what you want to do. And even for me, like when I wanted to do photography, right? I got into photography. I knew that I was always like online oriented, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do in that space. And I thought photography was a great option, right? but it didn't necessarily kick in for me. Like as much as I liked it, I enjoyed it. I just couldn't see myself continuing it. So what happened was I got into this fitness thing, and I was like, I just felt like, wow, like this is it. Like this is what I really want to do. I can get into the online space still. I can do this. So when you say that, I totally resonate with you there. And I think that sometimes it's like the fact that you tried it out, you tried psychology, you know, it's still something that you can always still learn. Like it's still something that you can like build as a skill, and like as you said, like but sometimes it's like just because you enjoy that certain thing or maybe you like that thing, it doesn't always mean that it's going to be necessarily a career. Like I like fitness, but like I'm not like crazy about fitness, but I still like it enough that I would do it as a career. So I find that it's really interesting about you even mentioned that. Like so what's your background, man? Like I think I saw on your FB that you were born in India. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't born here. I was born in India,
Okay.
Gujarat. That's the name of the state. I
Okay,
moved
Gujarati,
here when
yeah.
I was, yeah. So I'm Gujarati. So I was
Okay.
Patel.
One of my best
Patel's
like
Patel's originally.
my best friends is like Gujarati, and like I literally called them last night. It's hilarious. That's actually I want
Yeah.
to go to Gujarat actually now that I think about it. But anyways,
Ooh,
keep going. Sorry.
great. Yeah, it's a great state. A little bit biased, but my city is the best,
Hey
in
man.
India.
Hey man.
Ahmedabad. Just putting it out there. No, but yeah. So that's where I was born. I was born in
Yeah.
Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and I moved here when I was 7.5, and I've been here ever since. Like I'm a U.S. citizen. Clearly been here since 2008, January 2008. That's when I came here.
You're fluent.
I go back. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, well, even in India, it's like
Yeah.
there's always like that.
Actually, that's true. I know
Like
where you're going with this.
people, yeah, like people think that like you're not good at English, you're not fluent, blah blah blah. But like, no, that's the furthest from the truth. Like for my personal experience, I don't want to speak on others, but for my personal experience, I was learning 3 languages when I was there. Like
Wow.
English was one of them,
Wow.
Hindi, which is the national language, and then Gujarati. So it's not like English. India is so big that, and it's
Yeah.
so diverse to the point there's like over 26 or so official languages, and then like 100 like languages that are actually spoken. And English
Wow.
is well, I don't know if it's 100, but it's a lot
Yeah, it's a
because
lot.
it's
Yeah, for
the
sure.
population is huge and it's
Hmm.
very diverse. So you have people from all over the world, and English is, yeah, it's, and now it's honestly like dominating the world anyways. So it's something that people there learn from an early age. Like people that are very educated, and English was something
Hmm.
that I always did. Something that you don't see here actually is tutoring. Like you see it in college, but like students dread going there. I don't know how it's like in Canada, but at least in the US, it's not really part of your education. I'm
You
sure
mean
other
like
people do it.
one-on-one kind of tutoring thing? Is that what you mean?
Well, it doesn't have to be one on one or just like a group setting.
Right.
So here it's like if you need help, then you'll go to tutoring in college, at least from what I've seen in my college. But in India, from an early age, you go to school, you have your hours, and then you come home, you chill out for like a few hours, and then you go to tutoring. So for me, one of those things that I did was English classes. So like that's where I was learning English as well, in addition to what I was learning in school. So it's not something that like, it's when I came here, it wasn't a complete language shock for me. Culturally, yeah, for sure. But language, not at all.
That's very interesting. With that being said, we're gonna go on a quick intermission. I forgot to change my battery. Sorry. Okay, so that's very interesting that you mentioned that in terms of the tutoring. So when you were in India, right? Do you remember it at all, or is it something that because you're young, right? Was it like a blur?
No, no. Well, it's yes and no. I
Yeah.
remember some things. I don't remember a lot of things, but I do remember a good amount of things. Like I was there for 7.5 years. Like that's not a small amount.
Hmm.
But it was also that age where like I was 7.5 years old. So it's like you don't remember too much, but like I remember the culture. Like for example, Bollywood. Like that's all I watch. Like Bollywood movies is the only thing that I watch.
What's your
It's
favorite
like,
movie?
oh, that's a
There's
hard
too many.
question,
There's too
man.
many. There's way too
There's too
many.
many. Like I'm a movie fanatic. Like I would not be
Okay.
able to choose at all.
Yeah.
But so like that part of me is still there. Like I remember, going to the movies a lot or going out. I
Hmm.
remember some of my friends, things like that. But then there's a lot of things that I don't remember. Obviously, like I've been here much longer. Like I've lived here longer than I have lived in India.
Hmm.
So it's like a little bit of both. Like I remember and I don't. The food though, cannot forget that. Like so good.
Food is bomb because especially over there, like food is more like I come from Senegal, right? And like the food over there is way more just natural. You know, like when I was eating there, I just felt more healthier over there. It's not processed like it is here. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
changing up a little bit, but it's not as processed, and just yeah, the food's great, and it's like, yeah, man. Are you a foodie?
Hell yeah, of course.
You
I
are
love
you're
food
one of
so
those
much.
foodies. Okay, I have to ask you a question. This is kind of random. Uh, I guess I'm going on a little tangent here, but so me and my brother were talking about this yesterday, right? I told him that it's kind of cringe. Like for me personally, I find it kind of cringy when when like YouTubers are like they'll be like, "Oh, try this food, try this food, try this food," and then they eat the food, and then you see like their face, like they're trying to like force a reaction. Is that cringe to you, or is that like, oh, just let them eat their meal?
No, I don't know. Like I personally don't really judge, but
Yeah, yeah,
as someone that's trying to like I'm trying to be, an influencer or whatever, like trying to create my brand on YouTube,
yeah.
like if you have to fake something, that's a huge red flag for me. Like
Huge no,
for
no.
example, like if you see my YouTube videos, like and how I act is how I act in real life.
Yeah,
Like it should be the same. That parallel should be the same. So then if you, as a YouTuber, if you have to like force a reaction, that's like, I don't know. I'm
yeah.
not a huge fan of that, but that's just like me. That's
Yeah,
my
no,
personal
it's
thoughts
kind of
on
random. I know it's kind of random, but since you mentioned your
it.
foodie, well, I guess I'll segue to the your YouTube channel and or just your influencer lifestyle, right? Like, so you started, you said back in the summer, right? If I'm correct,
Yeah, it was like end of summer.
end of summer. So, what motivated you, or what got you to start? Just, did you start YouTube or Instagram first, or Reels?
So yeah, like that's like all like just like right a brand.
Yeah.
For me, I started. You kind of briefly mentioned right at the start when introducing me, but I did the mentoring program with Alex Costa.
Yep.
So before that, like I've always had an Instagram. Like I had it back when I was in like middle school, but it obviously wasn't the content that I'm putting out now.
Right. Not the
For
same
me, it was
purpose, whatever it is.
it's not yeah, it's not the same purpose. Well, it was still similar. Like all my posts, like obviously like I wasn't posing, I wasn't paying attention to like the angles and things like that. But my messages were what I focus on, like mindset, like psychology. Like I love that stuff. Like self-improvement is my thing. So
Hmm.
like since like I was like back in middle school, high school, like my captions were all motivational. But since this summer, I redirected like what I'm doing. And it was mainly that program with him. Like I've always wanted to do a YouTube channel. Again, since I was like middle school, high school, like that's something I always wanted to do. Like not just mindset, but also like fashion, lifestyle. But I just never had like I guess the courage. I was like, people will judge me. Especially like with Indian culture, like YouTube is not something that you would typically. That's not ideal. Like that's not typical.
I get it. Yeah.
Like my parents are actually super chill. Like they don't care. But at the same time, it's like other people within just the Indian culture. I was like, I don't know. Like that's not something I should be doing.
Yeah.
But then after having that program with Alex and like just mainly honestly meeting other people that were passionate, interested, a lot of them, well, not a lot, a good amount wanted to do YouTube as well, or some sort of influence, like, influence yourself, like creating their brand. I was like, wow, like I can do this too. Like, why am I like coming up with all these excuses? There's just no need. So then that was like a huge pivoting moment for me and like my approach with how I was handling social media.
Hmm.
Um, After that, I was like, yeah, like I'm going all in. And like, I think end of summer, like around there, I was like, I'm just going all in. I don't care. I'm just gonna tone out like other people that are saying no. Like it doesn't matter. This is for me. Like I'm having a lot of fun,
That's
and
key.
I don't want to stop. Like I started with Instagram first. So I started with IGTV. That's how I introduced like my brand at first. And then I was still taking the program with Alex Costa, and he was like, "Look, like if you want to come on YouTube anyways, like that was my plan to eventually come on YouTube." I was like, let me just introduce myself, test it out a little bit, see how people react on Instagram, IGTV. And the other thing for me was, all right, IGTV is gonna be like super quick. People's attention span is not that high.
Very
So like
low.
this is a
Yeah.
good way to like, yeah, grab people in and like make sure that they actually learn rather than like skip at like, whatever. If I put it on YouTube, they just skip most of it. They don't watch it, they don't learn anything. So I was like, let me just try IGTV. But then Alex was like, nah, man, like you have to, if you want to come on YouTube, you need to start now. So then after that, like I came on YouTube, created the channel, and then I've been dropping videos every single week since then. And then in addition to that, like I don't focus too much on Instagram mainly because of COVID right now. Like I have grandparents at home, and I
Okay.
just don't want to risk it. Like we're super careful. Like I
Of course,
barely
I
leave
get
the
it.
house,
Yeah.
so I can't really go out and take pictures. Like Instagram is like pictures is a little bit low on that, but that's just me. Like I don't care. Like maybe it's like a bad thing for branding or whatever, but like my grandparents matter a lot more. So I'm not gonna leave the house and take that risk.
100%
Um,
understood.
but
100%.
but I make those reels though. So and that's super fun.
Yeah.
So that's what I
And
do. Yeah.
it's funny that you mentioned the reels because I think Alex was talking about this too on one of his live calls. He was saying that reels is the way to go at the moment because what Instagram is doing, they're pushing more reels. Like they're pushing it because they want to obviously compete with TikTok. So it's like
Yeah.
by you posting reels, I think you had a post where you like, I think it was like you had over like I think it was 2 or 3 thousand people like in the span of like I don't know how long. And that's what reels can do. Like if you have the right reels, like it will help you kind of get up there, and at the same time too, it'll push you on the explore page. Not just you, but it'll also push your account and your profile, and it'll be like, hey, this person's utilizing the reels profile, and they're actually like they're actually using it for what it's meant to be used for. So I think I mean I feel like you're very consistent with your content even on IG. Like I think you post about like the way I see I see you post like at least once every like 2 3 days. I always see something from you. At least I think that's how much I think that's how it is. But you know how it is. Our low attention spans are a little low. So yeah, but man, like so like in terms of like your content, right? So I notice, yeah, if you could, what kind of content do you put out there, like on YouTube, IG, wherever it may be?
Yeah. So, well, when I first started out on IGTV, it was
Mm-hmm.
mainly just like mindset stuff like that. I love mindset so much, which is, I guess, it makes me unique in a way with other lifestyle content. Like even with Alex, they don't put up as much. Like their focus is different. For me, like I'm 20, I'm a college student, but like I have that, going for me too. But also like mindset, like that's what I really started focusing on at first because that's just something that I love. Because like if you're making a video, it's not something, at least the way that I approach it, it's not like, oh, what's gonna get the most views or what's gonna get the most likes or the most subscribe. It's what's gonna provide the most value, and I'm actually enjoying making the videos. So then when I made started the IGTV, that's what that mindset. I was like, boom, back to back. Like it was all not like every single one. It was really focused on mindset. So that's what I was going with.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually coming on YouTube, I was like, all right, like, I need to actually open up what I'm putting out there because like different people want different things, which I understand. So then for YouTube, that's what I started doing. So like I try to balance it out. Like I have a Excel sheet. I actually got this idea from Alex. I saw one of his videos and like how he plans his videos. Um, so like I have an Excel sheet and each category I have the titles of the videos that I'm making. So then it's like it's kind of like a bar graph in a way. It allows me to see like which ones that I have made and like which areas are actually low on. So like recently I started doing a little bit more fashion because I didn't have enough fashion videos out there. And I still enjoy fashion a lot. Like something that's I pay attention to and I have ever since I was a
Yeah,
kid. Like that's the
you're
other
on point with it.
yeah, so that's why and then I try to focus on that as well. But it's really
Yeah.
just like diversifying it to making sure that everyone gets the same value that I want to give out rather than just some people. Like mindset, like I keep talking about mindset. That's just what I love. And that's what I'm actually kind of known for, like in my area, like even in high school, everyone came to me about like either fashion or mindset. And I was known as that kid that like likes psychology and self-help. So but then at the same time, like, there's other people that want different things. So I try to, tone in on each of those areas. And then on reels, it's just me being creative, I guess. I'm not really a creative person. So I
Same.
wasn't I yeah, it's like I was like, I don't know, like I don't get it. It's
I
just
get
not
it.
who I am.
Yeah.
So, but I'm trying to explore more of that side in me. And I think Reels has been perfect. Like you talked about how they're, putting it out there more. 100% agree with that. That's exactly what they're doing. Like I've tried this out. Like I'll post a video on TikTok and I'll post a video on Reels. TikTok, I'll get like 10 views. Well, not 10 views, but like 10 likes and I'll get like 200 views or something. And it'll stay like that for like weeks. But then I post it on Reels, they take off really quickly
Yeah.
within a short period of time. So that helps. Like I agree with you there. But yeah, just trying to be creative, trying to provide content in an interesting way. Attention span super low. When you make reels, it's like fun, like, oh wow, like what is he about to do next? But at the same time, they still get the value that you're trying to put out there.
Yeah, and your content honestly has been like I obviously I've only known you for 2 months, but since the first one, the first reel that you posted, I think you posted recently a reel that you posted a while ago, and then you posted a reel that you just posted. I can see that even the transitions that you make, and this and that, like it's improved a lot. Like, and I find that I think we talked about this before even we started shooting, right? You were talking about how you got better in terms of your content, like how you're getting more used to making videos. I think you're saying it takes about like 20 minutes now. It's like you're able to make videos a lot faster, and you're also able to make more quality content. Are like how like obviously like you obviously want to be the best version of yourself, of course, right? But are you like how happy are you that you actually started in the summer? Because obviously, if you didn't start in the summer, I don't even think we'd do this podcast, honestly. Like if you think about it, like in general, like I think obviously your life would have shaped up a lot differently. How like, because this is something I stress a lot in this channel. I always stress to start somewhere, whether because we always sit on an idea all the time. We're like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. Sometimes it's just taking that little step and starting and just kind of like just see what happens, right? Equality might not be the best. You might not have the best whatever trying to do, whether it's a skill outside or it's online. Like, how happy are you that you actually started, and where you are now, and obviously the future? Yeah, if you can kind of go through that.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was always scared to do this. So,
Hmm.
like, when I actually started, I was like, wow, this is so liberating. And as I don't know if you've heard this quote before, but it's by Oprah. I'm sure you have. She's awesome, love her. But one of the things she said was, whatever like you're working on, like a career, whatever it is, like your job, your passion, like it should feel like breathing to you. So when she came on like TV and whatnot, radios, or I forgot what she started with. Well, she was a news anchor before. She hated that, and then she came on TV, and then she's like, "Wow, like I'm just breathing, I'm living," and that's what your passion should feel like. And I was like, "That's like that gave me goosebumps the first time that I heard that," and I've that stuck with me ever since. And when I started this YouTube channel, that's exactly what it felt like. I was like, "Wow, like this is just so fun. This is just so natural." And like I said, like I don't have to force anything. And I would never like that's not what I want to provide. Like again, see me on TV or not TV, YouTube and like in person, same thing. And it's just liberating. Like I had like all of this, like I guess on my chest that I wanted to get out. Like I love helping other people. Like I'm 20, I don't know everything. I know that. But whatever I do know, if that's going to help one person, like that's a huge win.
Hmm.
And especially right now with like COVID and everyone's just like stressed out to the max, like we have never thought about this before. And not just COVID, like even before, like as a college student, I read this a while back. I don't know if it's completely accurate, but it said how like college students, the anxiety levels that we have, if this was like 50 years back, we'd be in a mental institution, like in a
Yeah.
psychiatric institution. So like that's insane to think about. So then if like now if I can provide some way to like make it better, less stressful, like that's awesome. So then starting when I actually started, I was like, this is great. And then the response that I was getting from other people, I was like, that just allowing me to keep going. And like, I'm not focusing on the numbers. I'll be honest. Like, my YouTube channel doesn't have that many subscribers. Instagram doesn't have that many followers, but that's fine. Like, I'll get messages and I'll get to connect with people like you. And like, if you're, if you're providing some sort of value and giving back and receiving too, like it just all works out. And the only way you can really do that is like you said, you have to start. It's and like I love that's why I love your channel. I remember your yours one too. You were like, just I don't care what you're doing, just start now. I was like, this is perfect because so many people are just like, oh, planning this, I want to do this. They're all talking, whatnot, which is great. Like, you should have those ideas,
Of
but then
course, of course.
they never get implemented. It's like, what are you
Execution.
doing? Like, yeah, you need execution, but you shouldn't overwhelm yourself either.
Of
Like I
course.
feel like before YouTube, I was like, oh, like this I want to grow big. I want to like help the most people I can. But like that's too far into the future. Rather than I was like, that's whatever that's there, just like focus on this one video at a time. And that's what I've been doing. Another person that I love listening to, I don't know if you've heard about him. I think I've mentioned it to you before, but Rob Dial, he has a
Okay.
podcast called The Mindset Mentor. I
Okay.
listened to it on Spotify. If everyone highly recommend it, so
I'm gonna
life
check it
changing.
out.
Yeah, I love them. I thought I mentioned it to you. My bad,
Okay.
but
No, it's all good.
great guy.
Totally.
Yeah. And one of the things that he said was most people let like because he started like he does podcasts for him, and it just applies to YouTube as well. You start like you make 7 videos and then people give up. That's it. That's how far they usually get. But
Yeah,
then
it's so true.
yeah, the goal that he set for himself was, all right, people do 7, but I'm going to do 14. Let's see how far I can get. And then that's what, and now he's on like 1,000 or whatever, like
Wow.
many podcasts. Like this
Yeah.
is what he does. He's huge on podcasts. So that's the other thing that I told myself as well. I was like, all right, just start now, 1 video at a time. Let's get to 7 and then let's get to 14 and then we'll see what happens. Like now I think I'm on like today's was 22 or 23.
Okay.
And now you have that momentum going. You just won't stop. So like that's the hardest part though, building that momentum going, getting that momentum going.
Yeah, of course. And it's funny that you mentioned that because even when I first started doing my YouTube channel, there was a lot of things that were saying your first 100 videos are going to be like the worst videos of like that you ever like we're hard on ourselves. So obviously when people on the outside look, they have a different perspective, but we're our hardest critics, right? So it's
Oh, yeah.
it's like the first 100 videos is going to be like it's gonna be like your experimental videos. It's gonna be the videos that you make. And I actually found that I have like I think over 140 videos. My first 100 videos compared to like my next I don't know how many videos I have, maybe 140 something. The next 40 is completely different to the actual first 100. You guys can check out the first videos. It's completely different. I had like no setup. I use like my DSLR like the camera. It's very blurry. It's like it's completely different. And it's funny that you mentioned that like even 7, 14. It's like as you keep going, the more videos you make, like even your video today, I noticed that there was improvements like in your video today. Like in terms of like you see more like you seem more comfortable. I think that you have more like what's the word for it? I feel like you're starting to really know yourself on the camera because it's one thing that's the hardest thing for us to do is sometimes just establish a relationship with the camera or with the audience, right? And I feel like with your content you've really like which is why I'm very interested. You said you're only like I'm interested to see like when you're actually like at 100 videos or whatever how many videos you have because it's like you're gonna evolve as a creator and you're gonna keep going and you're gonna keep like dude like man it's you're 20 it's like it's and you have like great like mentors and you have like great like and you listening to all these amazing podcasts. I think you're gonna do really well, man. Like it's I think it's something that like I'm not like trying to like hype you up or stuff. I'm not trying to be a yes man here, but no, seriously, man. Like I think it's something that I think you're gonna be really successful in, and you're consistent. And one thing I'll give you lots of props about is you're very active within your community. And I noticed that because I noticed that I remember I think Alejandro Martinez, right? You guys go back and forth too, right? And he posts a lot of reels. His name's Martinez, right? I believe.
Yeah, Martinez.
Okay, cool. So yeah. So anyways, so I noticed that you guys go back and forth, and you have like a really cool connection with like a lot of like other creators, which helps you expand. Like, are you in terms of like when your content, whatever? Are you also trying to like be a part of a community, or maybe build your own type of community, kind of like how Alex does it as well? Like, what's your goal with that?
Yeah. So for well, like just like YouTube overall,
Right.
I'll be honest, like there's no real end goal. Like I said, I'm just taking it 1 day at a time, one video
Hmm.
at a time. If I like, grow and I have more subscribers, so be it. If I don't, I still don't think I'm gonna stop making these videos. It's just more for me and like just people around me. If I'm like if I'm impacting one person, so be it. So with that,
Right.
I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But with the community itself, yeah, of course. Like I love networking and not for like, business or anything, but just like-minded people like you. So like I know like we've talked a lot behind, on Instagram
Yeah,
DMs,
we just
Facebook,
like
whatever.
DM random stuff.
Yeah.
Like
So
literally, yeah.
yeah, so that connection is like great. Like I love that. And I learned a lot from you and like your posts, always inspiring as well. Your YouTube channel, like I have seen those like in the past and then now is like you're evolving, like that inspires me to keep going. So like I'm getting value out of you. So then with my community, I build it in that way as well. And I'm really picky, and I don't want mean this in a bad way, but I'm really picky with who I associate myself with. I think it's Warren Buffett that says like you're the average of like the five people around you. And that's so true because, well, if the five people around me are like 10 times better than me, or they have some, like they know something that I don't know, I'm going to pick up on that. And then in contrast, if they're like, like I don't, none of my friends are like this, let's say like drug addicts, alcoholics, they just gamble, whatever, like, and like negatively, like not in a good way. Um, I'm probably going to become like that too. So like, I don't have anyone like that in my life. Like I don't drink, smoke, gamble, anything. So things like that, like it's very important to me who I have around me. So that's what I try to do with my community, just in general. But then with the branding and like YouTube and whatnot, like I'm in like a group where like, well, inner circle too, like trying to meet new people there. One of the main reasons I joined mentoring program, and because of that, like I met Alejandro there actually, and since then, like we have this amazing bond. Like we text every single day. It's not just like promoting to the contents. It actually happened on Christmas too. Like I've known him since over this, like way before the summer.
Yeah, of course.
And I sent him for Christmas, I sent him some books, and then in return, he sent me the same. But we did not communicate that at all whatsoever to each other.
That's amazing.
Just like
yeah, I love
we
that.
just know each other.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And same thing with YouTube actually, like, or like I'll post something on him or his, I'll promote his YouTube channel. And then at the same time, like literally the same time, like within 5 minute difference. And I know this because like I check who viewed my story. He didn't view it, but then he posts something, it's about me. It's like, but we never communicated that at all. So like that relationship is just
That sounds like
amazing.
a telepathic kind of
Yeah, it's like a telepathic thing.
yeah, yeah.
But that just means like you're genuine. So like I like meeting genuine people. So like that community, just like when you have genuine thoughts, I feel like, and like you actually want to help others and like you want to learn genuinely, like you build those connections, you build that community. So that's what I've been doing with Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Just making sure that like people around me are actually genuine, like you're learning something. And if I feel like I'm not giving you what you're giving me, then I'll feel bad myself because like that's not how you should be, right? Like you should be always learning. So then it inspires me to be better. Be like, all right, he's putting out like, so he's actually focusing more on Instagram right now.
Yeah, I noticed, yeah.
Alejandro,
Mhm.
like he hasn't put up something on YouTube in a while, but his Instagram is booming. Like I am so proud of his Instagram feed. Like mine's terrible. So I look at him for inspiration. So I was like, all right,
I mean,
guys, like
a little hard on yourself there, eh? No.
well, I don't have enough. Like, I'll be honest, like, there's not enough up there. But again, like
Right.
I said it before, like, I'm fine with that because
Of course,
COVID,
of course.
grandparents,
Of
like,
course,
that's
of
not
course.
something that I will
Of
do.
course, of course. And reality, Instagram's always gonna be there too, right? So it's like, take your time with it.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. So like, I'm fine. Like, it's what, like, I'm hard, but like, it's whatever. It's fine. But him,
Hey,
like,
that's how
I'll
you get
look at him
better.
for inspiration. Yeah, you get better. So, but it motivates me to like, all right, I know that I haven't like, I can't leave the house, but I can still be creative in a different way. So let me
Mhm,
try
mhm.
using different props. Let me try using different angles, even within the house itself,
Yep.
making reels. So like having that community allows me to do so. And so that's why I think it's so important.
That's very interesting that you mentioned that, especially building the community. It seems that like you revolve like how is Harshil in like in regular life? Like I know you mentioned a lot about style, obviously grooming. And actually one thing I actually want to talk about in this video is because sometimes I think because I know you're also in this lane as well, is the importance of actually grooming, the importance of taking care of yourself, not just it looking presentable. I think I was gonna make a video on this, but I don't think I uploaded it yet. But being presentable, I think you're someone who knows a lot about this. You've made a ton of videos on it now. Can you like just like talk about the importance of being presentable, like as a whether it's your job or interview or meetup or whatever thing along those lines?
Yeah, of course. So like I want to be an attorney. So this is something that I'll use as an example. It's
Hmm.
very important. So, and like, it's not like no one's judging you or anything, but like low key they are. That's just human behavior. It's like what point, like 5 seconds. Let's just say 5 seconds. If you meet someone new, 5 seconds, that's how you're gonna judge them for basically for the rest of their lives. You just don't know it, but that's just how our brains are built. So think about 5 seconds. That's crazy. Like you just blink and boom, 5 seconds are gone. Like just like that. It's a small period of time. So that's something that I understood from an early age. And it's not something like it's kind of, I guess, hard to teach to have that instinct because I know that I was just born with it. So I can't really advise you on something I was born with,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I can still advise you on like what to do to make sure that you are presentable. So that's what I like to do. And just naturally, like if I leave the house, I'm not gonna leave in like a t-shirt that's just super baggy or it has stains on it. It's like you never know who you're gonna meet. And someone that focuses a lot on networking, like let's just say on career, I might even run to the groceries to pick up bread and some milk. But then what if I run into like an attorney that's like well known in the area, and then like we spark a conversation and now I have his business card and like possibly a job. Or like I'm single, so like I meet a girl and like I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like I like your outfit. And we just spark a conversation. She could be my potential partner. Like you just don't know what's
Very
gonna
true.
happen. So the risk or the cost of you not looking presentable are way too high. And I do go the extra mile. Like I'll always like even at home, like I never really wear slacks, like sweatpants or anything. Like even at home, I just love fashion, looking good. Well, this is like a hidden gem, right? That I like. Even at home, I usually just like I'm not gonna wear a suit, but I'll still be presentable because when I do my work, I feel much more confident. So then I'm gonna be much more productive. So then that helps too. Um, but yeah, like you have like there's guys, right? And I was part of this too. Like I was part of the issue in the past, like when I was a kid. Like I always wore basketball shorts and like baggy tank tops or whatever. Because I was like, oh, I'm a guy. Like, you know, if I dress up or if I pay attention to how I look, people will think I'm weird and like start assuming dumb stuff about me. But like that's for like furthest from the truth. Look at models, right? Girls like simp over like Brad Pitt, for example. Super built, they know how to dress well. Well, they have, you know, people that do it, but still, like they take care of their skin, whatever. Like so, like why can't you do the same thing? So then I was like, all right, I can do the same thing. Skincare is super easy. Putting on like even like you don't have to go into super fashion, but like just put on a nice shirt that's like ironed or you know it's crisp, it's not wrinkly. Put on a watch, like that's all you have to do, and you'll still look 10 times better. So that's my approach. Mainly that like I don't know who I'm gonna run into. That's like the main mindset that I have with looking up like, you know, presentable. But also they take you a lot more seriously. So with attorney, very important. Like you cannot wear a bad suit. Like that's just how it is. Especially with what I want to do. Like I want to do corporate law. They will look at you from how you're dressed. And if you're dressed well, like it also shows who you are as a person. It shows that you're neat. You know, you can pay attention to details, that you're confident. All those skills are necessary to be a successful attorney. So then they need to have that trust with you. And by simply wearing something nice, you already established that. And that's just mind blowing. So then I just like, all right, like I just have to do this and I'll do it. Like it's a small investment into your future as well. Again, like that job, I might run into an attorney and now I have a job that's actually something that I love doing. And if I wore a t-shirt, that would have never happened. So like it's really important. Like I cannot stress the importance of that.
Yeah, no, I like how you mentioned that, and I like how you stress that fact because even for me, like like I've always been like into it. But when I was like, I think it was like 13, 14, I didn't care at all. Like, and then I went to boarding school, and then my friends, I had like the baggiest jeans. People were like, "Yo, you just like Steve Jobs. Like, you just like a like they were like, yeah, your jeans are this, and like you're just everything's like." So after that, I was like, you know what, I gotta like start dressing better, and I wouldn't like. I'm definitely not like at your level. Definitely not your
No,
level.
no, no.
But one thing that it's funny that you mentioned that. Like, one thing that I find like I would say the last like 2 years I really focused on myself and I focused on staying like I look at my photos when I was 20. I'm like, dude, like what were you doing? Like I look like a mad scientist. But like now I look at myself, man, and it's like, dude, it's like I actually look at myself and I'm like, it's what I find in my actual daily life is people respect me more. It's very, very weird. Like
Yeah.
when I'm in a like I was just I was recently in school, and I just felt good about myself, and I just felt like I look in the mirror now and I'm like, okay, well, you're a good looking guy. All right, I see you,
Yeah.
I see you, like that kind of thing. But like in general, like when I go out, I find that people just have, and part of it too, obviously, is because I do go to the gym and I take care of my health as well, and I'm like I eat pretty well as well. But I find that when I like I really noticed this like in the last couple of months, like as coming back from traveling. Like people just respect it a lot more when they see that you're taking care of yourself, you know, you look presentable, you know, they can see that, because even getting a haircut is like, for me, it's like something I need to do like at least once a month, and if not, I'll have to like line up my hair or whatever. But I find that even like within myself, I feel better. And that's something that like sometimes I like to stress because sometimes, like, you know, like you said, can, you know, you can go outside with sweats. Personally, I do wear like Gymshark pants. I guess it's because like I'm into fitness.
Yeah.
But it's like even when I do wear like one of my overcoats, something like that, and I go outside, I feel like I feel like the man. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I feel like the dude. So it's like the fact that you bring that up, and the fact that I think, especially for those who are listening, it's like I think like I 100% agree with what you say. And like one of the things I tell people is that if you don't want to like, if you don't want to like dress, okay, maybe you don't want to wear a suit. I always tell people, dress the that way that you would dress, but in the best way possible. Because like, yes, like maybe you don't want to wear a suit, but like you said, if you start wearing sweatpants, like even if you wear sweatpants that fit, or wear sweatpants that actually like look good, or maybe even wear sweatpants that don't actually look like sweatpants when you go outside, like things like that. And I feel like it's something that's so important. And I feel like a lot of guys, especially now, are actually starting to understand that. And I feel like, and one of the things I like about your content too, is you. It's like you know, like the same thing, like rolling your sleeve. Like you give like these like little tips of, you give gems, and that's what I find that's different about your YouTube channel. You give little gems, and you kind of like, it's like, oh wait, I can try this now. So literally after the video, I was like, dude, I'm gonna try this out. I tried it out. I was like, interesting. This is actually looks a lot better, and I feel like you're really into that. But yeah, man, like in terms of like your, you know, your, because you said you're into like really mindset, and a lot of this ties into mindset, right? Especially
Oh
with
yeah,
grooming,
100%.
with this and that. Like when you mean mindset, are you talking about like your mindset, like the way you look at life, your outlook at life, or is it like because you mentioned a lot about mindset. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, no. So mindset, like that's such a broad topic,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So every like for me, it's when think of mindset, I just
Hmm.
think like anything to do with your brain, I guess. So like, but that's a lot though. So even fitness, for example, I would consider that like related to mindset because how you like, you know, I slack on working out. I don't do it as much as you do. Like I'm not as, you know, hard on it. Like I take care of my health, but
Yeah.
when you take care of your health, like eating right, like you said, you're like, you know, the chemistry in your brain is different than an unhealthy person. So then, and like even like working out, like, you know, when you're pumping iron, like that dopamine release, like that's all with your brain, right? So then you feel better. That's related to mindset. But then at the same time, going back to the fashion, like I'll wear like, yeah, like you don't have to wear like a suit every single day, but like even this flannel, like it fits me well. I have my sleeves rolled up and like I feel good when I look at myself. And
Yeah.
that's what fashion's really about, feeling good, in my opinion. Like you should not dress to impress other people. Like they say dress to impress. I say no, dress to impress yourself. Because that's what really matters a lot more. Because like I said, I dress well, I'll feel good.
Mhm.
And that mindset with me feeling good when I go and do my work, I get a lot more done. I feel like a badass. Like let's say I'm doing my homework and like let's say I'm doing math equations or something. It's a super hard equation. I get it done. Like yeah, like I did that. Like this was great. But if I was wearing like a t-shirt, like it was like super baggy, sweatpants were super baggy, then I'm in like a lazy mood. I'm not putting in the same effort. So then that mindset is totally different. So like anything to do with your like I know it's hard. Like I don't really know how to pinpoint it because it's just so broad.
Mhm.
But anything I guess that like makes your life better, I would consider mindset. Because like it's like perspective matters as well. Fitness, health, and then just like learning, growing, like all of that. I don't know. It's like it's hard to explain for me.
Right.
Like I wouldn't be able to put it. I just like I said, there's just so much there. But usually when I like make my videos on mindset, it's always like either on perspective, like all right, rather than thinking, oh, like 2020 was a terrible year, think, oh, it was actually really eventful. It was full of lessons. Now going into 2021, I learned all of these skills that I wouldn't have not learned otherwise. 2021 is going to be a better year. Or, damn, I got this bad grade. Rather than thinking it's a bad grade, like, all right, it's a lesson. So now I know what to actually study. Same thing like your failures. Like rather than thinking they're failures, they're just lessons. Because otherwise you would have not learned how to fix it. So like when I take like this is a kind of off topic, but practice exams like in school, I if the teacher or professor provides it, I'll take them hundreds of times, like not hundred, like I'll take it many, many times because if I'm getting a question wrong, then I need to focus on that. So then next time I get it right. So then when I take the exam, it's like I don't have to spend time thinking about it. I just do it. So that happened. But then also like confidence, that's a mindset too. If I'm going out, having my shoulders raised higher, like it's a little thing you can do, like chest out a little bit, you feel much more confident. And then you talk to a girl, you're just in a whole different headspace. So then you're more likely to let you get her number because now you're not like weak, shy or anything. Like, but that's mindset too, though. So like, there's so many different things with that. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because yeah, mindset is. I think it's. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because mindset is very. It's like it varies on every and within everyone, right? Like, I would say my mindset is like my mindset's always been this. Like, if you want something, you gotta do it, try it out. If it doesn't work, go on to the next. Like that's always been like my approach. That's always been my little philosophy. Like, yeah, it's sometimes, yeah, maybe it's a little flawed, but overall, like that's always been my mindset. I just, just start. And I find that like once you understand, and the interesting too, sometimes the thing too is that sometimes your mindset sometimes your mindset is your mindset. So it's like the way you're approaching. So I know for me, if I want something, I gotta do it. Like so I was thinking of personal training in the summer. I was like, I really want to do it, but how do I start? I literally did some research online. I called a bunch of schools. Like one school, they didn't even have like for some reason their landline number, like it just went straight to it said it's not in service. So it's kind of weird, but
Yeah,
I don't know. That was weird, but yeah. So that kind of thing, and then I went to school and then I did that. And now I'm getting ready to write that exam, and dude, like now I'm like I know way more than I knew like 6 months ago. Like literally, like everything that I learned now, I'm like, man, I did not know this stuff 6 months ago. I was just a dude at the gym working out, this and that, right? But the reality is, it's like it's a mindset thing, right? For me personally, and I find that when especially when you mention mindset, it's very important to adopt those types of mindsets, especially within yourself, because who knows yourself better than you? Like you know yourself, you know how you are, right? I know that when I don't want to upload content, or if I'm feeling a certain type of way, I'm not feeling well, I'm not feeling a little bit depressed, I know that, okay, you know what? Delete Instagram, delete Facebook, delete YouTube, right? Just get out of all social medias for a few days or maybe a few hours, whatever it may be. And then when you feel better, come back. And I know that because that's how I am. And I feel like, do you feel like self-awareness ties into this as well, like in terms of like knowing yourself and things like that?
Oh, 100%. Like you said, you're your best. No one knows you as much as yourself.
Hmm.
And I always like to mention this as well, with success and everything. Like it's just you versus you. Like you're not doing like you should like okay. You like for me, like my motivation is my family. Like I want to give them a quality life, give them everything they want because they came from basically nothing. So like I have that motivator. But at the end of the day, I love to give this example. When I lay on that deathbed, it's going to be me. Like my parents will, let's be honest, like they're probably gonna be dead. They're not gonna be alive. I mean, I don't know what technology is gonna do, but they're not gonna be there.
That's
Like I
fair.
love them too much, but they're not gonna be there.
Of
My
course, of
friends
course.
might be there. My friends might be there, but at the same time, it's just me in my head. Like I'm not gonna be thinking about, oh, like this guy's over here, oh, this person's over here, like what are they thinking? No, it's just gonna be me in my bed. Like I'm literally about to die. So when I go away, like whatever happens after, like that moment that you die, whatever, like I want that to be like of no regret. It's just
Hmm.
going to be me and myself. So I that's the approach that I use with my life. Like, am I going to get better, and how am I going to do that? And like I know myself is like having those people around you is really helpful. Like those 5 people or whatever. That's just like a basic number that you use, but It's good because it's good and bad. It's good because you learn something about yourself that you did not otherwise, but then also it could be bad because now you're relying too much on them. So then take their advice and but then assess yourself. So
Yeah.
like that's where self, realization and journaling helps a lot. Just you and your thoughts,
You
and
journal
then
often?
see. I have been slacking recently,
Okay. I've
to
been
be
slacking
honest.
too. That's why I asked.
But yeah, I usually do it I try to do it every single night.
Yeah.
This semester, like I don't want to make excuses, but I've been
Hey,
slacking. My
life. It's
fault.
all
I take
good, man.
responsibility. I know
I
the
get it. I
semester
get it.
was really hectic for me, so I stopped. But usually it was part of my nighttime routine.
Okay.
I've been getting back into it now. But yeah, it's great. Like you and your thoughts, and you get to learn about that, and it's really empowering. Like not just writing it down, but also looking back and then seeing that progress too. It's like
Mm-hmm.
wow, like I was in this headspace at this time, and now it's like complete. Like you were mentioning, like with your videos, they're completely different.
Yeah.
You're completely different when you
Yeah.
look at those journals. And then one thing I love about journaling actually is, it's a little bit off topic, but if you're like having a failure and then you're putting down whatever thoughts down, or I like just like write down what I'm doing to address it. So then in the future, if I like, or like a moment of me being down, I come back in the future and I'm down again. If I look back, I can be like, oh, this is what I did and I got better. I'll do it now. It works. But that's learning about yourself, which is really important. And
Progression.
you can do this in different ways. You can do this in
Yeah.
different, like I'm a huge extrovert. So like I love talking it out. So then if I'm talking to my friends, like we'll go on it. Like I can talk for hours.
That's
So we'll
crazy.
go on it and then like you learn. Like that's one way of learning too. Or you can read about your, different things and then you improve
Yep.
your life that way. So like so
Mm-hmm.
many different things you can do.
Yeah, like learning past experiences or learning from other people's mistakes and things along that. It's
Yeah. Oh
funny.
yeah.
So is you're an extrovert, eh? I'm a, I'm actually an introvert, but
Really.
I can switch off to an extrovert every now and then. But it's draining. It's funny, but it's a.
Same.
But anyways, that's off topic. But yeah, man, like it's. I think it's very interesting that especially like because you're young, man. Like I mean, I'm 25. I'm still young too, but like it's like I
Yeah.
remember being 20. Like I remember like when I was 20, like it was kind of like tough for me because it wasn't even tough. I remember like going at it. Like I was doing photography for like a year back in 2017 when I turned 21, and I was doing really well with it. Like I amassed a decent audience, and then I also what happened was I started doing photography kind of like a full time thing, right? I was shooting some weddings. I was I had photo shoots all paid and things along that. And but it's like at the same for me, it's like I couldn't even figure out like I realized that wasn't what I wanted to do. And it's funny because like when I reached a certain I think when I reached after photography, it was like 2018. I think I was 22. It wasn't until then that I decided to stay authentic with my content. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna restart. So I restarted my YouTube channel. I restarted, my Instagram page. And one of the things you mentioned this in the beginning, right? And I resonate with this a lot because this is something that I should have done in the beginning if I could go back is not is to focus on creating like content that will resonate with me. You mentioned this too, like it's like you don't care about the followers and this and that. Like I should have like I wasn't that focused on followers. I was more focused on like I was focused on like succeeding very fast. Like I was just focused on I wanted to be like the photographer. I wanted people to like hire me and this and that. I wanted to be known as the photographer. Whereas to this day, people are still calling me or messaging me, "Hey, can you do a photo shoot or can you just shoot this wedding for me?" Like I still get that, and it's like staying authentic. Like I have this bracelet, I wear it every day. Stay authentic, and you're very authentic. Like even in this conversation we're having, like within your YouTube channel, I feel like you're very very authentic. Is it something that you kind of like grew up with, or is it something that you like? What's your take on that? Because I feel like you're very authentic. Like with this conversation we're having, like obviously it's first time. This is the first time we've actually talked, right? But you're
Yeah.
very authentic. Like I feel like you're no different to the person that I watch on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what's your take on that? If you can kind
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I was born with it. I'm not really sure. It's not something like I have to try. Like I mentioned with,
yeah,
before with Oprah, it should just feel like breathing to you.
right.
So then when I'm on YouTube, it just I'm just talking as I would in person, or if I have a FaceTime call with you, or a video call, or phone call, whatever it is. It's the same thing. I'm just, whatever I like. I'm 20 years old. I don't know everything, but
Of
whatever I
course, of
do
course.
know, I'll provide it to you.
Hmm.
And YouTube is just a great source to do that, because now I can reach a greater amount of people. Like the audience level is much higher. So it's like, I'm not, in my mind, like that mindset isn't any different. It's not like, oh, I'm on YouTube, like I have to be professional. I have to do, no, it's just, I'm me. And rather than talking to one person, which I love, I don't mind, I'll get to talk to more people, and that's, so be it. And I'm sure like my culture plays into role there. My upbringing with my family, they've always been super hardworking. They're
I
never
saw
like,
that you
because
mentioned
they're,
something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go for
Oh
it.
no, no. Tying into your family, I saw that. I think one of your first that you're Hindu as well. So
Yeah,
does that play into it as well, like your faith, in terms of like being authentic and things along those lines?
yeah. So Hinduism is like, okay, so I was born into Hinduism, like
Okay.
like in India and whatnot in my family. It's not something that I have indulged in way too much. Like my parents are super religious.
Okay.
For me, like they pray every single day. They, like my dad specifically, he'll do like a 3 hour prayer every single Saturday on top of like an hour long prayer every single day, or a
Right.
few hours actually, like throughout the day. For me, it's more just like, what does it teach you? And then I just take action on that. So like being kind, for example, it's huge on that. Always giving back, and not like having. There's this one thing that my grandpa always says. It's like they say, I think it's called mo, which basically means like you think like you're all this or whatever, and like even like with fashion, for example, it's not like you feel confident, but it should never be to the point where like, oh, like I look better than you. Then you're in like, that's wrong, and that's one of the things that the religion teaches on. So like, yeah, like that plays into a role too, where like just help other people. And mainly like, so I mentioned this earlier, like my grandpa's story. Like I didn't have to do this, but he grew up on a farm actually. He was very dirt poor, like literally dirt poor. Like their house on the farm was dirt. So like he was dirt poor. And one of the things that he always did was he gave back. Didn't matter what he had or how much money he had, whatever he did, he just found a way to give back. And like eventually he became, he got into business, he did well for himself, still giving back, remembering his roots. And which is great, because then we lost everything actually. But I know that if he didn't give back during the process, and then when he lost everything, he would have been devastated for sure. Because like you did all of this, and like now you just, this is what you get because you never gave back. But it gave him a new perspective. Like, all right, like I gave back, and like I helped other people around me. And he's like, he has like I think three sisters, so like he's the only guy. And he was always, didn't matter what his situation, he was always giving back to. Oh, he has a brother as well. Always giving back to others. So I think that's something that I picked up from him just naturally being around him. Like I didn't mention this before, but they've lived with us ever since I was a kid. Like I've
Wow.
never been away from them. Like they live with our, like,
That's
since I
amazing.
was born until
Love
now.
that.
Actually, this past year was the first time I spent a year away from them, because I
Yeah.
got stuck in India because of COVID.
Yeah.
But besides that, every single year, for 19 years, we've been together. So like yeah, that upbringing has been definitely important, with that for sure. Yeah, so
That's
like there's culture, upbringing, just naturally, I guess, a little bit too. Like I never want to do anyone wrong. I just wouldn't feel good myself doing that. Like I never want to like, oh, I want up to you. Like no, it's just we're all in this together. Like we're all a team. Like we're all just one team. I don't care if you're like, different race, different color, different religion. Like we're all humans, and that's what we got going for us. And that's what we have to go with. Just build each other up.
Yeah, and that's why even especially online, like especially with the internet, one thing that despite I know there's two sides. Obviously, too much of everything is it's not always a good thing. But one thing that's really cool that about the internet is the fact that you can connect with so many different people that like even like the when it with I did a thing on the inner circle, right? I've been trying to do this lately. I've been trying to get like a video chat thing. So I did a
Yeah, I
test
saw
for it,
that.
right? And then there was a dude, one dude came in that day and he was from Malawi, man. Like it was really cool. Like I'd never seen him post on the inner circle. I didn't even know he was on the inner circle. We literally talked for like 45 minutes. Like we just talked. Like we literally
Yeah.
talked about this, and I got a completely different perspective. Like I was like, dude, like Malawi, and I was like, wait, like it's like I rarely hear about Malawi. He's like, yeah, Malawi. You know, we don't hear about Malawi. I'm like, I started asking like, yo, like is Malawi like really poor? He's like, yeah, Malawi's poor. I'm like, dude, you're like it looks beautiful on Google. He's like, yeah, you know, maybe Malawi's not as poor as I say. But it's like, but no, it's funny that it's interesting that you mentioned that because what the internet like or in general it has enabled us to do is really be able to connect with a lot of people, and I find that it's beautiful, and it's really really like especially like you mentioned that, you know, with your grandparents, and you know you mentioned that you know, with your family, your culture, it ties in. You get to meet different types of individuals, and I feel like with you as well, like you're like obviously this is our first time talking and stuff like that. We've messaged back and forth and stuff like that, but you know, like I feel like you're very genuine with what you're doing, right? And I applaud you for that, especially being like, you know, 20. You know, you seem very mature for your age. Um, you know, you got the beard there. You know, the beard on point. You got the you got the beard on point. I've been trying. I'm using minoxidil, but that's a different story another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Like any final words to the audience, you know, like that, you know, anything that you would want to like encourage the audience, or this has been a great talk, and I feel like everyone, like people that listen to this are gonna actually get a lot of value out of this. Like any final words that you'd like to say to the audience, or anything like that?
Well, thank you first of all, again for having me. And this was, I learned a lot. Like I mentioned, for like it's all about learning, right? So
Hmm.
providing value to each other, it's something that we need to really focus on, and just being open minded is something that's really, especially right now, like COVID, I guess. Like everyone's like stressed out. Personally, I don't like to make excuses. Like it's just, rather than it being a bad thing, this is a good, like, learning experience. So you're learning a lot more about yourself and the people around you too. So just be respectful to, like, other people, what they think, what they believe. Because you don't, like that guy from Malawi, like you would have never thought like, oh wow, like this guy exists, and like I learned something new. But like you actually took the action to listen. So that's something that I've seen lacking a lot, especially with people my age are just so like, oh, I'm not gonna be friends with this person. Oh, he's weird, she's weird, oh, they're different. Actually engage with them. You never know what's gonna happen. So like, really just being open-minded, just being kind. Like I said, we're all in this together. Like, you're not different than me. We're all the same. You're my brother, you're my sister, whatever. Like we're just together. And with that, just trying to make it a better place, right? Because we're all here. Like we have to get along. Like there's no way around it.
Of course,
Like
of
being
course,
negative to someone just doesn't do anything. Like
of course.
I just don't see the need for that. Like if you have something negative to say, like I'm sure like it comes up. We do this all the time. Like, well, what, like I do this too. Like I'm sure subconsciously, it's not something like you can completely control. But like I might walk down the street like, oh, this person's different. That's normal. That's not what I'm saying. But rather than like taking the action, be like, oh, like I don't like this about you. Oh, you're, well, just like keep it in you. There's just no need to spread that negativity.
Yeah, I agree.
If you do have those thoughts, like just keep it in you. Just rather than putting those negative. And I mentioned this one of my, I'm not trying to promote myself here, but I
Hey,
mentioned
go
this
for it,
actually in
man.
one of my videos in the past, because I think it's a good lesson that everyone should know.
Yeah.
If you do come up with those thoughts like, oh, this person's bad, rather than saying that out loud, could be in an argument, be like, oh, like I'm so glad, like I'm so thankful for you, like you're an awesome person. It's like you might not mean it completely, but like you're still emitting positive vibes
Yeah,
into
you're
the
cha- you're
the
you're
world.
changing the, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll feel better too, actually. Like rather,
Hmm.
like, because you're replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones, so you'll feel better. But then also the other person, even though it's like a heated argument or whatever it is, like it's gonna just change that whole dynamic that's going on. So like that's something that I like to do as well. So like the example I gave before, like you see something negative, just replace it with something positive. Even in your head, you don't have to say it to them, just do it in your head. So that's something that I really want to, make sure that people focus on, is just be happy, like, take care of yourself and just be positive. You don't have to focus too much on what you're going to do. Like I know you mentioned like with the YouTube channel, you trying to be successful and whatnot. It's like that's fine. Just like everyone's learning, everyone started somewhere. There's no need to compare someone's chapter 100 to your chapter 1, because like you don't know what they went through.
course,
um,
of
they
course.
struggled as well. So like, you just don't be too hard on yourself. Just like you got this. Like there's nothing that you can't do. Just take it one day at a time, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Like, especially now, like we're human beings, we're flawed, like we do have our
Yeah.
flaws. I have my flaws, of course. But it's like it's also important to, like you said, like, and I'm definitely gonna work on I've been trying to implement this more in my life, just being more just being nicer. Like I'm an introvert, so like sometimes when I go outside, I'm kind of like when I go to the gym, I want to do my workout. But I kind of I'm not that person. Like I kind of like not. I guess I kind of avoid like just the crowd. But one thing I've been trying to do, exactly, it's just like television, literally. But one thing I've been trying to do is like just start talking to people, which is why I started like doing video calls, like just personal video calls. And I find that like just even because of obviously COVID and stuff, that you can't go out, but even at the gym, like one of like some of the people that work there, like one of the guys that works there, he's like, hey, come in between in the mornings, and I come in the morning, we chat, like he works there, super nice dude, and it kind of reinforces this like feeling of like like 'cause sometimes if you don't go out, you don't talk to people, you kind of lose that social connection with other people, right? So yeah, I appreciate you. Oh, it says my internet connection. What? Okay, anyways, with that being said, I'm gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, check out his channel, Harshil's Lifestyle. I'll leave the link down below. His IG is on here as well, so you guys can check it out there. Don't forget to stay authentic. Peace.